Happy Monday, everyone from San Francisco. We are currently still on our vacation. And today was my turn to bring the devotional. But a topic that God has been working in my life is the theme of gratitude. And it's about learning to notice the good things in our lives. And that is a total mind shift. And it honestly feels so good when we are grateful because it connects us to God, who is the source of all goodness. And a couple of weeks ago in our prayer and devotional time with the worship team, I shared on this topic. I shared that it is easy for us to focus on all the negative things and things that maybe aren't going our way. But imagine if instead we focused on what God has done in our lives, what God is doing, and what God's gonna be doing in our lives. But it's thinking a completely different way than we are normally used to. And sometimes we just have to stop and think about those moments that God has brought us out of. I don't know about you guys, but it can honestly just bring me to tears just thinking about all that God has done in our lives. Nobody else could do it. And I am currently on vacation. And 5 months ago, we were in San Francisco as well. And it was a completely different trip. My husband, he was not feeling well. He was not normal Ruger, who's always goofy. He was just very sad. It was just not him. And we didn't know that his sugar levels were like at a deadly extreme. And we had no clue that the moment we would be getting back from our vacation, he would be staying in the hospital for a whole week, which honestly, every night just felt like it was dragging on long and long. And we don't realize what we have until it's not there. You know, like you kind of like, my husband's there, my kids are here. But when somebody's gone and somebody's not there all the time like you're used to, you become so grateful for that. I am so grateful for my husband. And those hard times, they feel like an eternity. But when we trust in God and when we're grateful in faith, God does miracles. And I'm going to read off of these verses in Mark 6:37-44, which say, "But he answered, 'You give them something to eat,' they said to him. 'That would take more than half a year's wages. Are we to go and spend that much on bread and give it to them to eat? How many loaves do you have?' he asked. 'Go and see.' When they found out, they said, 5 and 2 fish. Then Jesus directed them to have all the people sit down in groups on the green grass. So they sat down in groups of hundreds and fifties. Taking the 5 loaves and the 2 fish and looking up to heaven, he gave thanks and broke the loaves. Then he gave them to his disciples to distribute to the people. He also divided the 2 fish among them all. They all ate and were satisfied. And the disciples picked up 12 basketfuls of broken pieces of bread and fish. The number of men who had eaten was 5,000. Many years ago when I was 14, okay, maybe like 20 years ago, Mari was our Sunday school teacher. And there was a class that she gave one Sunday that it's just stuck in my mind forever. It was about giving thanks for something that you are asking for, like that, having that faith that God is going to answer. And if he doesn't, it's because he has a greater purpose for that. And it was about just having that faith and believing that God could answer those prayers. And in these verses, we see that the disciples are just looking at what they have at hand, and they do not fully understand what Jesus can do. For Jesus, nothing is impossible. And these verses, it says, verse 41 says, taking the 5 loaves and the 2 fish and looking up to heaven, he gave thanks and broke the loaves. The disciples were looking at all the people that had to be fed and just what they had in their hands. Sometimes that's how we are. You know, we see all these problems. We see all these changes that we need to happen in our lives. And we're like, how is that going to happen? How is that going to be made possible? And we see in these verses that in that verse, Jesus put what he had before him. He gave thanks for what he believed was going to happen, and he took action. And we have to be the same way. When things seem like there is no solution, or we seem like there's no way that God can fix this, there's no way that God can change this, there's just no way, we just keep on thinking no, we think about all these negative things. But imagine if we instead were honest and laid it all before God and just said, God, thank you. I know you're going to answer this prayer. I know you're going to do what you have to do. It would be such a different way of living. Imagine just having that positive attitude, having an attitude of gratitude. And that's my my challenge to you guys today, just to be grateful. Be grateful for what you have, and maybe for that prayer that you are still waiting to be answered, or that situation that you are in that you're just like, I don't know what to do. Lay it before God. Like those loaves and that fish, lay it before God. Look up to him, trust in him, and be thankful and trust that he is going to answer and he is going to do what he knows best. And let's just continue to be grateful with everything that we have, because God is so good. I am so thankful now that my husband is healthy, and he's still getting a little more healthy, and I am just so grateful. We take advantage of the things that we have at hand, but when something just doesn't go our way, that's when we kind of go a little crazy. So let's just have that attitude of gratitude. God bless you guys.